Originally, Naruto was a rather inept ninja, failing to graduate from the academy 3 times. Through sheer determination and training, however, his skills rapidly improved to defeat strong genin like Niji Hyuga, Gaara, and Kabuto Yakushi, earning acknowledgement from all the Sannin for his potential. Under various tutelage, Naruto was able to defeat various members of Akatsuki, ultimately earning praise from Konohagakure as a Hokage material hero. Naruto's personally defeated various reincarnated Kage and Jinchuriki during the Fourth Shinobi World War, with many believing he was the central key to winning the battle. By adulthood, his prowess made him the 7th Hokage, regarded as the strongest shinobi in history in having command of overwhelming jutsu. With the combined might of Sasuke, noted as his only rival as a shinobi, they are said to be able to destroy a continent. Together, they overpowered Momoshiki Otsutsuki, who absorbed Kinshiki Otsutsuki, and pushed Jigen's body to its limit. Overall, he could compete against if not defeat world-threatening opponents, such as Madara Uchiha, Kagaya, Tonari Otsutsuki, and while fighting at his absolute peak overwhelm Ishiki Otsutsuki. Chakra and physical prowess. As an Uzumaki in the reincarnation of Azura Otsutsuki, Naruto has massive reserves of strong chakra, at least 4 times greater than Kakashi's, and described by Karen as bright and warm. His initial poor control of it was offset by his sheer reserves, which were large enough to endure 3.5 days of constant battle against several powerful opponents. Only by the end of his battle against Sasuke did he show exhaustion, and even then could still fight to a standstill and eventual victory. Naruto's control improved greatly over time, able to transfer his chakra to others, and perform one-handed hand seals. Naruto's powerful life force grants him an extreme longevity, healing power, stamina, and vitality. This allowed him to survive the extraction of a tailed beast, though he required aid from Sakura to stay alive. Naruto also learned how to counter genjutsu from Jiraiya, but is limited. In adulthood, Naruto's chakra is powerful enough to intimidate Kawaki into submission and destroy high-level barriers simply by releasing a burst of it. He could repel Shikamaru's shadow imitation technique, a feat that no one else could do. His chakra, when he combined it with his son's vanishing Rasengan, turned it into a gigantic ultra-big ball Rasengan able to kill the empowered Momoshiki Otsutsuki, who tried to use a copy of the technique to defeat his. His chakra reserves were also so vast that he was able to overload Delta's chakra-absorbing eye with a continuous Rasengan assault and still primed to defeat her. While naturally a short-range fighter, Naruto originally was inept at taijutsu, requiring unpredictable attacks to surprise combat experts like Kiba Inuzuka and Neji. He often utilized shadow clones in large if not massive numbers to simply overwhelm his foes. Although these tactics resumed later, Naruto becomes much more adept at taijutsu due to Jiraiya's training. After Fukasaku's tutelage, he could fend off a pair of expert kenjutsu users. 2 years after the war, Naruto's taijutsu prowess could best dozens of opponents without shadow clones or enhancements. As Hokage, his taijutsu could pressure Momoshiki after he had absorbed Kinshiki. Naruto could even hold off Delta despite her extreme body modifications, ultimately controlling the pace of the battle to tire her out and gradually overwhelm her, 85, to win despite being in the defensive. His speed had also increased to the point where he could effortlessly catch up with Kawaki after he tried to escape. Likewise, in the anime, he is proven very resilient, able to take a point-blank blast from Kawaki's modifications unfazed. Body modifications. After losing his right arm during his final battle with Sasuke, Tsunade cultured an artificial prosthesis for him using the cells of Hashirama Senju. As his body and the prosthesis arms are only connected through his chakra itself, he can easily remove and replace them. After Momoshiki's defeat, Naruto took inspiration from his chakra absorption technique and had Katasuke Tono and the scientific ninja weapons team modified the arm further with mechanical features. With it, Naruto is able to neutralize and even absorb enemy techniques, though they have yet to replicate Momoshiki's ability to discharge them as a counterattack. Jinchuriki Transformations. Originally as the Jinchuriki of Kurama's young half, Naruto had access to massive reserves of exceptionally powerful chakra, which was at least 100-fold greater than Kakashi's. These chakra levels were increased even further when the yin half of Kurama was reunited with the yang half inside of Naruto. Due to his inheriting his mother's unique chakra capacities and being Kurama's Jinchuriki for essentially his entire life, Naruto's chakra has properly mixed with the Fox's, 88, allowing him to perform several chakra-taxing techniques unhindered. Originally, he could only access Kurama's chakra in times of great anger. It enhanced Naruto's abilities, but the Fox's negative influence made Naruto more aggressive. While essentially remaining himself when accessing a version 1 state, manifesting 4 tails would trigger version 2 state, which made him lose control and would gradually turn into even more feral forms, requiring outside assistance to suppress Kurama's power and regain control, prompting him to avoid relying on the Fox's power whenever possible. By end of the Fourth Great Shinobi War, he could access his version 1 form without any loss in his mentality. Realizing he could not avoid using Kurama's power, Naruto sought to control it with help from Killer Bee, a Jinchuriki who had fully mastered the power of Gyuki, and unexpectedly, Kushina. Upon succeeding in taking most of Kurama's chakra, Naruto attained Nine-Tails chakra mode, which greatly increased his physical parameters. Naruto can also detect negative emotions in this mode. As he didn't have Kurama's cooperation, Naruto needed to exercise extreme caution while using the form, as the chakra exchange could cost him his life. Eventually, when Kurama acknowledged Naruto's lifelong strength of character and Naruto learned the Fox's true name, their newfound friendship granted Naruto access to its full power, which further increased his physical parameters and with no drawbacks. This cooperation of Kurama also provides Naruto with an immediate resistance from Genjutsu. 2 years later, he could isolate the form with one hand to enhance his strength or to block attacks. Failing to transform into a replica of Kurama at first, Naruto instead achieved a tailed beast mode in the unique form of a life-size transparent avatar of Chakra. In it, he could create tailed beast balls and revitalize the life forces of any he touches physically or with the avatar, heal nearly any wounds, or grant them temporarily chakra cloaks. After he became the Jinchuriki of Kurama's complete self, Naruto is able to manifest the demon fox outside himself for a period akin to summoning, allowing both to fight as separate entities. During the endgame of the Fourth Great War, Naruto received chakra from the other tailed beasts, which greatly increased his chakra reserves even further and allowed him to access their unique abilities himself, or infuse them into his own techniques. With the infusion of all 9 of the tailed beasts' respective chakra inside of him, Naruto has become a medium to connect all the tailed beasts to communicate with each other and made him a human pillar for the power of the 10 tails. In the most dire of situations, Naruto is able to access a deep level of Kurama's power, Baryon mode. In this state, his facial features become even more akin to Kurama with 9 blazing chakra tails. In a process similar to nuclear fusion, Naruto's and Kurama's chakra are consumed as raw materials to produce a new type of energy. When in use, it dramatically boosts Naruto's reflexes, raw might, and chakra to such extreme levels, able to surpass Ishiki's capabilities. Because all chakra is connected, the same power that is produced from bits of their lives also work to reduce the lifespan of opponents on contact. Due to its extreme energy consumption, Naruto must remain focused and not waste energy on extraneous thoughts and actions, to maximize the amount of time he can maintain Baryon mode. The drawback of this form is the high chance of death for Kurama from the extreme strain of this form. Upon Kurama's death from this form, while Naruto was spared the same fate, he lost access to all of Kurama's chakra and abilities. Ninjutsu. In the academy, the sexy technique was the only technique that Naruto could perform successfully, which had no practical use other than to shock people. Later, he learned more advanced and useful ninjutsu from Jiraiya. This included summoning toads from Mount Mayaboku to assist him, and use them to crush enemies from above. He became skilled in shuriken jutsu, able to throw weapons quickly and with precision. Naruto's repertoire expanded to Fuinjutsu, where he could store his weapons within scrolls. His Fuinjutsu was further increased upon receiving Jiraiya near the start of the Fourth Shinobi World War. In the anime, Jiraiya taught Naruto cooperation ninjutsu, combining his techniques with others to create an even more powerful one. The collaboration techniques he performed with other individuals typically utilized his own elemental affinity, such as the Typhoon Water Vortex technique with Yamato, the Wind Release, Toad Gun with Gamatotsu, and the Scorch Release, Halo Hurricane Jet Black Arrow Style 0 with Sasuke. He also learned from Asuma Sarutobi to flow chakra into his weapons to increase their offensive might. In the anime, by adulthood, Naruto showed some proficiency with Bojutsu. Shadow Clone Technique. Naruto's first trademark technique was the Shadow Clone Technique. While originally failing constantly with a basic illusionary clone, after briefly studying the Scroll of Seals, he learned to create shadow clones on a mass scale. From then on, Naruto's skill with shadow clones blossomed to great heights. Having unusually high chakra reserves, Naruto could use this technique to create hundreds of shadow clones and retain large amounts of chakra in each one with relative ease. 103. He could use them to outnumber or deceive his enemies, maneuver himself in mid-air, transform into weapons, scout areas, or test an opponent's abilities. During his elemental affinity training, learning that the original will gain all the knowledge and conditioning of a shadow clone right after it dispersed. From this, Naruto can use his mass scale of clones to drastically speed up his training to gain years' worth of experience in just days. By the time he became Hokage, Naruto's usage of this technique on mass scale and prolonged periods allowed him to constantly perform multiple simultaneous tasks throughout the village daily, although he does have a tendency to overexert himself, leaving him exhausted afterwards. Rasengan. Naruto's second trademark technique is the Rasengan. Originally, due to his poor chakra control, Naruto had to use a shadow clone to form the spherical shape while he provided the chakra. Over time, Naruto developed larger versions of the Rasengan and learned how to perform it faster. During the Fourth Shinobi World War, he learned to use the Rasengan and its variants unaided with a single hand, or even form one in both hands simultaneously. He also increased the size of his standard Rasengan. Naruto had also shown the ability to release the Rasengan as an energy wave, or as a projectile in the anime. 108. Using Senjutsu or Kurama's chakra, Naruto can create more powerful and elaborate variations of the Rasengan. Using the latter, he even developed the super mini-tailed beast ball, performing it in a similar manner to the Rasengan. In the anime, usage of his tailed beast chakra also allows him to instantly perform massive Rasengan without the aid of his hands and launch in quick successions, similar to a tailed beast ball. Nature Transformation. Naruto's natural affinity is Wind Release. Using shadow clones, one to form the Rasengan while another infuses the wind chakra, Naruto could complete difficult task of producing a Rasengan that is the pinnacle of shape and nature transformation, something no one before him could accomplish, including Kakashi and his father. Once adjusting to using the Wind Release Rasengan, he could expand upon it to produce the Wind Release Rasen Shuriken. He also created different-sized variations, and could even use two Rasen Shuriken simultaneously. 2 years after its creation, he became skilled enough to form a Rasen Shuriken without any shadow clones and throw it in his base form, a feat which he previously could only do while using his enhanced modes. After gaining the 6 paths Senjutsu, Naruto can utilize all basic 5 nature transformations, as well as Yin-Yang release. He could make perfect use of the latter to revitalize life forces, heal whomever he touches, and restore missing organs. After gaining chakra from the respective tailed beasts, Naruto can also use Shikaku's Magnet Release, Son Goku's Lava Release, and Koku's Boil Release, able to infuse any of the other elements into his normal techniques as seamlessly as with Wind Chakra. Having an arm made from Hashirama's cells, Naruto has a possibility to use Wood Release. Senjutsu. Naruto later trained in Senjutsu at Mount Myaboku, which was only possible due to his high chakra reserves. Unlike Jiraiya, he was able to perfectly balance natural energy with his chakra, and enter a complete sage mode, symbolized by the orange pigmentation around his yellow eyes and his toad-like pupils, and no other alterations to his appearance. Using sage mode made Naruto's technique stronger, enhanced his physical parameters, utilized the frog kata taijutsu style, and sensed chakra through advanced enough to identify different signatures from vast distances. Since Fukasaku was unable to fuse with Naruto and gather natural energy for him due to Kurama's interference, Naruto had to employ shadow clones instead to maintain the technique, taking advantage of the clone's own buildup of natural energy being transferred to the original and let him use Sage mode a number of times. However, creating more than 5 shadow clones overall would disrupt the focus of the clones gathering natural energy. The need for this method diminishes over time as Naruto became capable of entering Sage mode much faster. However, after finding unity with Kurama, Naruto overcame this problem and learned to combine Sage mode with Kurama's chakra to further enhance his abilities, such that he could resist Nagato's control and shatter truth-seeking balls. In later years, having drawn experience from his various events, Naruto became able to maintain Sage mode for much longer durations unaided. 6 Paths Senjutsu. Naruto also gained access to the 6 Paths Senjutsu, Rikudo Senjutsu, which allowed him to fly and also manifest up to 9 truth-seeking balls, composed of all 5 basic natures, yin-yang release, and imbue them with the 6 Paths Sage Chakra. He could mold the balls into a myriad of shapes, fire them as projectiles and still control them from distance, or convert them into tailed beast balls and use them to create tailed beast ball Raisin Shuriken. While his shadow clones are unable to produce truth-seeking balls of their own, Naruto is able to transfer control of his own to any of his shadow clones. 6 Paths Sage Mode. With the power given to him by Hagoromo, Naruto gained access to the 6 Paths Sage Mode, Rikudo Sennin Modo. 5. In this mode, his pupils take on a cross-like shape, without manifesting the orange pigmentation around his eyes present in Sage mode. Going further, Naruto donned a new Nine-Tails Chakra mode cloak, which he could access instantly and maintain much longer than his standard Sage mode. Naruto's physical attributes and techniques are further augmented, to the point where he could dodge attacks that moved at the speed of light and deflect truth-seeking balls. It also empowers his sensory abilities to the highest possible level, which allowed him to sense the invisible shadows of Limbo. Naruto also retained use of his tailed beast mode avatar of Kurama, which rivaled Sasuke's Rinnegan-empowered complete body, Susanoo in size and power. Using 2 shadow clones, he could create and combine 3 Kurama avatars into a single construct with 3 faces and 6 arms, which is largely reminiscent of Asura's 6 Paths, Konotsukami. This state allowed Naruto to infuse 2 massive Raisin Shuriken with natural energy. Intelligence. While headstrong and often acting without thinking, Naruto's years as a prankster had given him a cunning imagination that was useful in split-second decision-making, which has repeatedly proved invaluable in battle. He is a remarkable tactile learner, able to learn better through executing a task rather than understanding the theory of it. Jiraiya also considered him to have a good gambling instinct. Once seen in action, even the likes of the second Hokage revised their thoughts about Naruto's intellect and instinct in battle. After meeting Hagoromo, Naruto gained the innate ability to grasp the nature of chakra and comprehend all universal things, allowing him to quickly master the new powers he received. By adulthood he had become a capable teacher, instructing students at Konoha's Ninja Academy. During his fight with Delta, Naruto showed his ability to think ahead by hiding his power and faking defeat in order to make Delta drop her guard and reveal her plans, although Delta was perceptive enough to see through his attempts. Naruto ultimately was able to find out the weakness of Delta's shinobi-ware absorbing eye and overtax it after seeing it in action repeatedly. Naruto's most famous mental skill is to deceive his opponents, as he made effective use of even the most simple techniques to trick the deadliest of opponents. He could formulate multi-step plans or backup plans in the thick of battle, and act quickly even when given new information. He can also seemingly make himself predictable by creating a pattern, only to throw off his opponent by breaking it. He has even thrown in what others would call completely useless techniques at powerful opponents to create an opening for a counterattack. Naruto is rather observant, able to notice details others may overlook and subsequently take advantage of them to overcome his opponents. As an adult, Naruto proved to be a capable teacher in ninjutsu, quickly teaching the basics to Kawaki.